Disappointing worship services. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and comment your thoughts below. For more videos and tips, subscribe to our channel. No matter what your dog's problem behavior is, be it jumping, peeing inappropriately, aggression, pulling on the leash, or whatever, there is one solution that can help. Click on the link in the description box below. Some of my favorite memories are times in worship when everything just works. The surroundings are inspiring, the people are welcoming, and the sermon sends me out with a hope-filled outlook for my future. But for every thrilling memory, I have 10 memories where things didn't work quite right, and I departed from church disappointed. Perhaps the surrounding vibe didn't reflect my preferences. Maybe the people were unfriendly. Or perhaps the sermon didn't leave me feeling ready to conquer the world. Many people on Sunday drive to church in dread, with a sense that church is going to disappoint. Sure enough, they drive home freshly disappointed. They wonder if a different worship service might be more fulfilling, and fear they are simply destined to be disappointed. Recognizing expectations. Consider disappointment like a math formula. Take your expectations for your morning, subtract what your morning was actually like, and the distance between those two is the disappointment you are feeling. If you often feel Sunday morning let down, consider the expectations you have for your church. What do you expect from the environment? Do you expect it to be well furnished and ornate with well executed and culturally relevant music? Beware of ways that our consumer mindset pollutes our attitudes at church. The church is more like a dinner in, at home with family, than one out at an expensive restaurant. What do you expect from the people at your church? Should they be extroverted, attentive, and spiritually mature? Be careful not to use yourself as the standard you use to evaluate others. As the comedian George Carlin quipped regarding motorists, anybody driving slower than you is an idiot, and anyone driving faster than you is a maniac. Expecting people to be like you is a very lonely proposition. What do you expect for your future at the church? Do you expect your participation and gifts to be recognized? Do you expect your service and leadership to lead to greater opportunities? Beware of using a church to fulfill selfish ambition. Rather, resetting expectations. I've often reset my own expectations with the Apostle Paul's words in Philippians 1. First, consider his disappointing surroundings. Paul encourages the believers, "What has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel." Philippians chapter 1 verse 12. Stuck in prison, Paul should be disappointed by his circumstances, but instead he encourages others. What did he expect? Second, consider his disappointing relationships. Paul writes, "Some indeed preach Christ from envy and rivalry, thinking to afflict me in my imprisonment." Philippians chapter 1 verse 15. Paul should be disappointed at rivals opposing and undermining his ministry, but instead he rejoices. What did he expect? One eager expectation. Paul has one expectation. He says, "It is my eager expectation and hope that Christ will be honored in my body, whether by life or by death." Philippians chapter 1 verse 20. We can be patient when our eager expectation is to glorify Jesus, because life will always give us new opportunities to honor Christ. Let us adopt Paul's eager expectation, for Christ to be honored in us, no matter what. Because Paul's eager expectation was for Jesus to be glorified in his surroundings, the prison was transformed from a confining detention from Caesar to a strategic deployment from King Jesus. Paul's expectation to honor Christ turned his prison into a pulpit. Because Paul's eager expectation was for Jesus to be glorified in his relationships, the group of people who opposed his ministry transformed from a mob of envy into a mobilization of evangelism. Because Paul's eager expectation was for Jesus to be glorified in his future, his impending execution was transformed from Rome putting him to death to God finally raising him to true life. Paul's expectation to honor Christ turned the gallows of horror into the gateway to heaven. How did Paul overcome these disappointments? By having one expectation: Christ will be honored. As we worship Christ together this week, may He give us this expectation. May He rewire our hearts so that our joy and goal would be found in honoring Him. The Father is working the entire universe toward that glorious end. May we relinquish our selfish expectations for our church's surroundings, people and future, and instead take up the expectation that Christ will be honored in our worship service, and in lives of worship. Place your hope in that invincible purpose, and you will never be disappointed. This is Luke for Christian News Today. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.